Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another part of the workshop. This is SwiftXR's workshop, and the last time we did a workshop, we did something around React, where we saw like how to integrate SwiftXR in a React application, and also we're like trying out how to see optimization techniques that you can use to kind of buffer and help your applications work properly with 3D embeds. And today we're going to also look at something very similar and also dive deeper into optimization techniques and things like that that you can do. But today we're going to do um, something interesting, and I think we're going to be looking at Svelte. And Svelte is also a framework that we can use to do we can use to write is a front-end framework that we can use to write applications for the web. So without lots of things are going to happen on this stream, and I hope that you're excited. So I don't know, I can't see if people are joining, so I'm just going to chill a bit while we do that. In the meantime, my name is Joshua, and I am a community developer at SwiftXR. So a lot of these things we see around helping you get started, helping you go in as a community. That's what I essentially do at SwiftXR. My partner is supposed to join the stream very soon, so until then, it's stopping me. All right, so SwiftXR is, let me just share my screen so we can talk about 3D embeds a little bit and also look at today's particular focus, which is integrating using SwiftXR with Svelte and seeing how that can work. And I've prepared a very interesting demo, and not the most elaborate demo you would see out there, but it's pretty decent, nice looking and all that. All right, let me just put up my screen. That should go right here. Present, share screen, share screen. Entire screen. I like to share my entire screen so that you guys can see it. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. If we can put that up. Awesome. All right. So I don't know if you guys, yeah, I'm sure you can see this already. So this is with XR, and okay, just for those that might be in the audience that don't understand what this is about, I just want to go a little bit into the idea and also the benefits of all this. So XR is a platform that allows you to bring 3D, XR, that extended reality, which includes the augmented reality and the virtual reality, and you can take all these things that we see that can help our that can augment and create interesting environment and use it on the web without all the all the technical nature of it, or like you can do 3D, do XR, do VR without having to write a single line of code. You just put it on the web, and that's interesting. That's a lot of superpower in the hands of developers, builders, people that have ideas, where you can take things that would normally take you some require some technical skills, and you can put it on the website somewhere and people can see it. For example, I think I should just probably show a demo as well quickly. How would I do that now? Of people using this already? Nothing comes to mind right now, but this is the home page. So if you go to home.sweetxr.io, this is a landing page that describes everything that you need to know about the product, which is what we. When I say the product, it seems more like I'm talking about an external thing, but this is my product. This is our product. This is what we're building to give you the superpowers that you need to put 3D, XR, AR stuff on the web without a lot of the stress and pain that comes with writing code and stuff like that. So we support Shopify, Canva, WordPress, Wix, Figma. Let me see if you guys can see me for a minute. So I'm sure I'm not speaking to myself. A second. Sorry. All right, good. Okay, so we have like one click plugin implementation integration with all of a lot of these platforms you're seeing here. And the idea is still to power through to give you the best and the easiest way to bring 3D assets, your XR ideas to the web. And with the interface we provide, and we're going to see a lot of these things later on, but just like a little bit overview for just for those that do not understand quite what we're talking about here. Because I'm sure we kind of have like a number in the audience that might not understand what SwiftXR is. I don't want to assume that everybody here knows what SwiftXR is about before we start talking about putting it inside putting it inside is Svelte. So even though I kept saying that you don't have to write code to use SwiftXR, well, SwiftXR also allows you to easily embed it inside your applications that you're building with code. So at the same time, where we support like Webflow, Framework, a lot of these platforms that allow you to do no code, we also have like embeds that you can put into your web application, and that's what I'm going to do today. So you can do 3D, and we see a lot of use cases around people doing real estate and manufacturing, artwork, and e-commerce, and it's pretty interesting because imagine the benefits and like the massive improvement in like your UX when I can talk about a product to you and you can see a static image of, oh, this is what it looks like. It's cool, right? But what if you can take your mouse or take your hands and you can turn it around, like interact with the thing? It gives it it increases the experience, like it just makes it more interesting to interact with, which is cool. And then also extended via reality, where you could do augmented or virtual reality. Augmented reality is the sense that you augment, like you improve the things you see, so you can layer digital experiences on top of actual real world experiences. So that's where you have this Google Lens thing and all those things. Why virtual reality is the sense that you are immersing the person in the environment. So the person is not seeing the real world right now, is seeing the digital world that you've created and you've immersed in it. And we can do all that with SwiftXR. So with all that said, without that further ado, let's see what exactly are we doing today. What exactly are we doing today? Let me just show you the products that we are going to be working on. And that is, just a moment, let me see if that's recording. All right. So that is, I've built this simple demo, and the idea today is to see how we can integrate SwiftXR with Svelte. So Svelte is, let me just pull that up real quick. Svelte.dev. Yeah, so while that's loading, let's see. So Svelte is, they call it cybernetically as web apps. Okay, at the end of the day, it's a front-end framework that you can use to build application, right? So lots of these things out there. All right, so let's see the project we're building today. So this is a very simple demo that I have put together that is kind of like just to showcase one particular use case. The last time we did this, we looked at an e-commerce example, which was pretty fun, building and integrating and using SwiftXR to like increase the experience a bit. But this time we're going to look at a very interesting use case, which is portfolios. So the idea today is, imagine that you are a 3D artist or you are an artist in some form, and one of your medium is creating 3D things, or like immersing people in words, or any of those tangents, right? What's the best way to show your work? Yeah, you create a portfolio online. Let's say for this particular one, this is core. So core is, so that is myself. This is, let's say I'm an artist in some form. Yeah, I do art, but maybe not really art. So let's just say I'm creating a portfolio for myself now. And the title of the portfolio is, the title of this particular piece that I want to put online is called The Aging Sphere. I can do better with the titles, but well. So I have this very interesting sphere that I've designed, and it's a sphere that is supposed to like morph and change with time and gets older as time passes because it's aging, right? And then I have this description for like what it is. This is an interesting use case. This is my portfolio, but you immediately recognize that this is not, this could be improved in some form. What if I can interact with this 3D and it can show, maybe it's an animated thing rather than just this static image that is here, right? This is an image I can show you. So save image, copy image. You can see it's an image. Well, I have decided to use 3D to encapsulate and just embed the agent sphere into this place. Let's see how we can do that with SwiftXR. So the very first thing to do is to go to swiftxr.io. So just load that up right now. Swiftxr.io. And right, you see the home page that I tried to use to explain the stuff early on. And I will need to create an account. So creating an account gives you your own personal dashboard where you can work with your own projects and creating. So I'm just going to sign in because I already do have an account. If you do not have an account, and this is the first time using this, you want to get started. But I have an account, so I'm just going to go to sign in. And I wouldn't load that because I already have SwiftXR open. So once I sign in, sorry, quite a bit, I'm going to get this dashboard. Or in your case, once you sign up, you will be introduced and you have a dashboard like this. Just a couple of things will be different. Yes, your name will be different. My name is Joshua, so your name will be different in that intro. It's weird if it's saying I Joshua for everybody, right? One other thing that will be different is the number of projects you will have here, right? So right now I have like a couple of projects I have deployed. I have one called Lever. I'm not sure what I did there, but Lever. I have one I call Gland Longitudinal. Oh my God, names, right? And there's one called Demo. But yours should be empty, and you will just see recommended templates. And this is very cool because now you can see, you don't have to worry about bringing models in. SwiftXR already has like sample templates that you can use to like just understand how the platform works. So let me just go into let me go one of these. Let me open this template and see. I'm just gonna here and say demo templates, just to show you what exactly it looks like and how that works, right? And I'm going to use this to like explain the interface before we now go and create ours, right? Let me just do that quickly. Okay, so this is a sample template that SwiftXR has created. And one thing that you should understand about SwiftXR is you can actually use it to create portfolios itself. So, you know, this instance I'm using a Svelte. I'm using Svelte to do the thing. You can actually go into like, you can actually use SwiftXR itself to create the portfolio, which is good. A lot of the components that you would need would be on the site. So there's this thing called components that you can use to bring in elements that fit your use case. So they've used that to scaffold this, but this is pretty much out of the scope of this. So I just use this to explain to you that there are templates that you can use. Let's do something as regards our own project. So I'm going to go back now to like to the org, right? I'm going to go back to the org, and the org is the dashboard. So think of the org like the dashboard, like your home page of your particular special place to create your own project. It's called the org. So I'm going to create project, and I'm going to name this project Svelte plus SwiftXR. Why? Because I'm doing something with Svelte, and one thing you want to also know is you have to be very intentional about your naming system, and particularly when it comes to things like this, because you just don't want to give random names if you're actually working on real life projects, right? You want to be conscious about the names that you give these things. So because I'm working with Svelte and it's a SwiftXR demo and it's YouTube, let me just put YouTube in front, just just because it is YouTube, right? So I'm going to create a new project, and sorry about that error. That is on. Let's do it again. Something was wrong. Let me do Swift XR. Sorry. Swift XR Svelte YouTube YT. That's what it's gonna happen. Okay, we now have our newly created project, and this is where we're going to work with the 3D that we want to use in our portfolio, my portfolio, because this is my portfolio. I want to put 3D in this place. So I will go to this is the new created project I just initialized. So now when you open this for the first time, you see an interface like this. I'm going to quickly run through what it looks like so that you don't get like overwhelmed. And on the left hand side, you would see a number of buttons that you can use to kind of bring in elements into the canvas. So imagine this as your canvas, as your playground. This is the sheet that is going to contain everything you want to use. Yeah. So the white big open space here is where you want to put all the things you need. But what exactly are you going to put there? That is why you have the left hand side, and you can see the first option. You see components. Components is contains elements that you can import and bring into your canvas. So you can see the basic components. That's why you have the columns. Columns are all these things are for structuring. Column 2, column 3 are for structure. In case you want to have more elaborate presentations, you can use that to create like very defined structures. Then text, if you want to have text there, you can also use link and images. And then if you want to deal with 3D things, there's a 3D component where you can bring a 3D viewer, and a number of all these options are available for you. Let me just quickly show you AI. This is AI artwork viewer, and a lot of the things you need to play with them to get the juicy, sweet nature of them, because they're pretty interesting things to work with. And the more you play around with them, the more you like discover how awesome they are to use. So, but for our use case, I want to do with 3D, right? I want to put a 3D image here. So I'm going to just go to, where's that again? I'm sorry. I'm going to go to 3D viewer, and I'm going to see, once you are on a component and you're over, you can see that your cursor, see it's now a pointer, it comes over here and it becomes a crosshair, it becomes like a scope target thing. Yeah. So okay, that means I want to select this, I want to grab this and drag this. So so what do? I simply just click hold and drag and excuse me, sorry, and drop. Boom, I now have a 3D image in my space. What next? Well, look at this. This is a sphere, and this is a box. And this box is actually the default that comes when you create. It's more like, okay, this is a 3D image. You can change this. You can bring in your own. But this is very good because now you know that there's a 3D image here. Now you know that your component is now in your canvas, which is a nice thing that Swift XR has helped you with, to understand that now you've done an action and this is what is now available in your canvas. So you now have the Swift XR logo here, you have the 3D image itself, you can drag and move things around and pan around and zoom and things like that inside this very wonderful world of 3D that you've created. So how do we now bring in our 3D into this space? So on the right hand side, you have options, parameters, things that you can change to customize your environment. So I have design, I have properties, right? For design, that is more particular to the environment and things. For properties, you have more things that regards to the object itself, to change the lighting and things like that. So when you go to properties, you can see an option, a toggle to upload 3D model. And this is where you can bring in your own 3D models. And we support a number of options. We support GLB, GLTF, all those 3D things you guys work with, which is cool. However, I do not have a particular 3D sphere. Let's say I'm still thinking about my 3D idea. I've not really designed and modeled it. I just want to have something in place. I can easily just go to the 3D store. Now the 3D store is using Sketchfab, and if you don't know Sketchfab, Sketchfab is this awesome repository of 3D images and 3D models that us people have created around the world in one single place for you to like pick and use in your project. So I'm going to use Sketchfab to like grab one of the examples that people have created without having to design my own 3D model. That was very awesome. And gives me access to quickly iterate and play around with things before committing to any particular model, layout, or whatever it is. So I'm going to use 3D Store because I have played around with XR a lot. I mean, it's an awesome platform, so I have no choice, right? I have already linked my account to Sketchfab. For you, this might not be the case because you're just creating an account. Just in case that's for you, you need to link your account to Sketchfab, and it's pretty intuitive. I wish there's a way I could disconnect this. I'm not sure how I could do that. I did not think of that while I was planning, but if there's a way I could show you. But let's just go ahead. You should see an option to connect your Sketchfab, which means you have to go to Sketchfab to create an account, and that is simply as just going to let me just show that quickly. I don't want to assume that it's pretty Sketchfab. I'm going to Sketchfab, and this is Sketchfab. I'm going to create an account there. So I'm going to Sketchfab, and you can log in, sign up, or create an account, and then you can bring that and link that up to your article. The Sketchfab integration inside SwiftXR. Now that we have that, if you've done that, if you've not done that before, you would get to this point eventually because you've linked your Sketchfab account to SwiftXR. I'm going to type Sphere, and typing Sphere means I'm going to search through the repository on Sketchfab to get, let me see what ideas out there have been created around spheres. And this is what it gives me. It gives me a bunch of options around spheres. Pretty interesting ones. But I think I prefer this one. I love the way it looks like. I love the way it looks like a time ball, like him. This pretty looks interesting. I'm just gonna use it. So I'm gonna download that. I can't wait. And that is gonna just get the model from Sketchfab, put it into SwiftXR, and just in a single click, I have this. Interesting, right? I have this model from Sketchfab. Let's see what we can do to customize this. So I said, like, you have options on the left-hand side. You can change the position, you can change the size depending on your use case. But for me, I'm not going to change anything right now because I just want to see how I can bring this into my Svelte project. So to do that, you need to publish this. So the way SwiftXR project works is once you have a 3D model, once you have a thing done, you need to publish this. So publishing this means that you're making this available to use outside the SwiftXR environment, and that is what you're going to be able to, that's what you will need to integrate whatever you have here elsewhere, whether in your application, whether on Webflow, whether in wherever, Blender, whatever. This is the step that you need to do to get it outside there. And that's going to deploy that on tested events with XR. You can, so once you confirm that, I'm just going to leave everything as it is. I'm going to proceed to deploy. It requires 5 credits to deploy this. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Deploying on SwiftXR requires that you have credits, and that depends on the plan you have. So, well, once you create an account for the first time, you get like test credits to like play around with things. But once you have committed to making some choices, to working with SwiftXR, you might need to get more credits, which there's a very affordable pricing calculation that you need to do depending on the kind of project you want to deploy. So you can check that out on the SwiftXR page. Go to pricing, and you can see how that works. And if you want to talk to somebody to decide on how pricing works, or you have a particular specific use case, please feel free to jump into the community. We have a Discord community that is super active. That is super active, and yeah, and you can ask your questions there. I'm going to show you the community in a minute. So, or you can just contact us, right? So let's just continue what we're doing. Like I said, so deploy. I'm going to click yes, proceed, because everything is fine. I have so many credits. I have the right model. I'm ready to see this live. Let's go. So we're going to chill a bit for that to kind of like do the whole entire process. It depends on how heavy or how weighty the model is. Sometimes it takes faster. Sometimes you have to do a lot of work that you should not do yourself. Pretty interesting. So let's see. Once that is done, should be done. Boom! We now have our app has been deployed and is ready to be used. So at this stage, let's just leave it right here and let me show you the code for the project. So I'm going to come back to this, but right now let's just leave it right here and go. We'll be back to this in a minute. I did not touch anything. I'm leaving it like this. Let's just go to so like I said, this is the project we built. This one is live, Suite Excel's Veil demo of Vassal. This is live right now, but I have the development environment running. And if you want to work with this, the project is live here on the GitHub. I'm going to send all these links to the community and share with you on the, YouTube. This is the code for what you're seeing right here. This is right here. So yeah, let me just close this. I don't like the file. I always keep coming to it. What next, Joshua? Okay, yes. So this version of the project is running on my local machine. As you can see, it's localhost 5.73. That one is running on my machine. This one is deployed live. So this is the one we're going to be worrying about for the next of this workshop. So let me show you the code that runs and powers this. So this is the Svelte code. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're listening. This is a Svelte code that powers the entire demo you're seeing. And let me just walk you through that. For Svelte, the way it works is you can have scripts, you can have style. If you're not a developer and you're listening to this and you're watching this workshop, don't fret. This is not, I know it looks scary a bit, but just chill, just chill. We're not going to do so much code things. We just want to show a simple sample of things, right? So I'm close all this up so that it doesn't look way dirty and things. So just imagine that this is the part we're going to be focusing on. This part and everything is what you see rendering the agent sphere. You can see the agent sphere here is an header. But let's ignore all that a bit and just close all that part so that we can focus. So the part we're going to focus on is this part that renders this image. So you can see it's an image, an image, and this is what displays this sphere. This spherical object you're seeing here is an image of a sphere. And I can prove that to you because if I comment that out and I save, the sphere is gone. So instead, we want to replace this sphere with, do you guess it? The 3D image, the 3D, what's it again? Sorry. The 3D thing the 3D object that we've created in Suite Excel. I want to replace that sphere right here with this. How do I do that? Now, I said we should leave this and come back to it now. When you come back here, the way to do that is to embed this element inside Svelte or wherever you want to use it in your Svelte application. And I can do that easily by clicking embed code. And for example, let's say I have canceled this object. I can always come back to this place by going to this drop down right here. I'm going to embed code. Let me see how long I used, right? And I can click on Svelte. So we have several options. Last time we saw React.js, we saw Angular, we've not seen Angular, sorry. We saw React, but this time we're looking at Svelte. For the next workshop, we might be looking at Angular, Vue, or Swift. I don't know yet, depending on how it happens, or what you guys want to see, which one you prefer to be done next. So I'm going to go to Svelte, and because Sudex also considers your experience, we already have like sample code or like a structure for you to use to display this project, right? Let me just see if I'm still live. Okay, good. I'm still here. Uh, just in case, this is the documentation. I know I keep coming here. I wanted to talk about it. So I think this is even the best time to do that. So let me just do that in a bit, a minute. So you see, I can look at this sample code to understand how I'm going to use it, the implementation of the embed inside my project, or I can go to the documentation. And how do I access the documentation? Is if I go to my home page once again, and I go to resources, um, I can go to guide, resources, resources, guide, and that should take me to the documentation. And I can see a lot of the things I mentioned. Svelte is right here. And you can also see the same examples I've been mentioning and the same examples what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, let's go on. So I can happily close this now so I don't keep coming back to it. All right, so once we've done that and we have um, this, let's now use this in our project. So the first step is to put, I'm going to copy this. And notice that is inside the script, inside this script tag. I'm going to go back to my VS Code, go to scripts, open this, paste this, right? I'm going to put that there. That's the first step. Oh, I mistakenly closed it. Go to embed code. Go to Svelte. All right, so then the next step is to do it is to copy this part of the code and put it inside style. This is styling, so this is optional depending on how your project is structured and how you want to style. But if you don't have any particular specific styling, this is important to put. So I'm just going to copy this last part. For this part, I will prefer something else. So I'm going to just copy this part and use. But for you, you might want to copy both of them. So I'm just going to copy the first part. Go to my style. And this is my style part. And I'm going to put this just right here at the last part of the style. Save that and close this so it still retains some of the neatness that we started with. Then I'm going to also go to now the part that actually takes the code and put it inside the application. That was the last one, and this is the very fun part. Is sorry, just let me check time again. So I'm gonna go to this is a part. This is a div and this is an iframe. You don't just copy this iframe. Take that, copy that, and put that in. Where's my VS Code once again? I'm gonna put that in the place that I want to render the 3D model, right? That I want to display. And that is where, so this was where we have the image. Let me just show you once again so you can refresh your memory on that. And yes, so you see where the image is, and this is the part. So I'm going to replace that with the image. So I'm just going to comment that. Commenting means I make it unavailable, but it's still visible in the code, but it's not going to show in the actual code, the front end of the code. Right, so I'm going to just paste that iframe there. And that is all I need to do. So let's see, if I save this now, would I get my 3D model on the website? Let's see. I'm going to save this and I'm going to check. Boom! Yes. So that's how easy it is to put a 3D model that you got from the internet, you modeled yourself, you can import it and put it on the front end. If you want to do this with JavaScript, you might need to do some 3JS or use Tres.js or you write some WebGL, GSL stuff to maybe get the kind of interaction. But you can see literally in clicks and clicks and clicks and copying and pasting, I was able to achieve this in record time. If I was doing this without having to explain, trust me, it would have been faster. And this is how you do it. So let's just make some changes to this because I don't think I like this the way it is. I don't like the fact that the white background is white. And maybe I want to change and remove this with XR logo or maybe replace it. I don't know. Let's see how we can do that. And that means what exactly, how does the life cycle work? So you see, you making some changes and doing this does not set it in stone. You can always update the functional, the look, the properties of the model, and we're going to see how to do that right now. So for this, I'm going to go to design. I like to turn off the stroke or like set it to none. Yeah, this is a border. I like to set it to none. Then I can also go to properties and go to lightning. Is it lightning? I'm coming, just a minute. Yes, lightning. And I said, I don't want to see the background. As you can see here, it's as you can see here, the background is kind of like white, and I don't really like the background. I like it to just be transparent. So I'm just gonna go to my code and just said, show background, yes. I don't want to show background. So when I turn off the background, one thing you'll notice that this shadow is also very given. So even though the background is not there, this shadow is gonna be really terrible in my implementation. I don't really want it. I can also turn that off. So I can go here and turn off shadow intensity and shadow softness, turn it down to 0. I can play around with the brightness, but I just like it as 1, leave it as this. What next? I'm gonna go to I want this changes to reflect in my implementation, so I'm going to update it. But before I do that, remember I said I wanted to change this to the Excel logo. So I'm just going to go here and take it out, delete, or I can replace it with an image of my choice or whatever. And one other thing you will notice is there is the attribution text here. This, you can take this out because if you are using a 3D model that you did not work on, you did not design, you need to give credits, and that is why this is here. If this was a model that I imported myself, that I built myself or designed myself, then this would, maybe I don't want to use attribution on my own side, I can take this out. But because I'm using a Sketchfab, somebody else worked on this, let's give them credit. So that is not going to go away from there. I love that there. So I'm just going to go right here and click on updates. And when I click on updates, I'm going to click on proceed. And updating doesn't cost anything, right? Just changing some things because it's already deployed, just changing the settings and parameters. So I'm going to proceed to do the updates, and it's going to do the same thing it did the first time, but this time it's just going to reflect those new changes in our deployed instance of the model. Let's wait for that to process for a bit, compressing my files, maybe because I've got so many. And boom, we have it completely done. And that is, this is interesting because I've updated it without, the link stays the same. I can delete, I can close this now and go back to my implementation and refresh. If everything works out well, we should have a new look to the model. Let's see how that works. Okay. So the background is still there. I must have done something. I must have done something out of it. So let me just go check it again. The background is here. Properties. Did I turn it off? I think I did. Oh, I need to click on the. Objects, the properties, show background, yes, no, don't show background. Okay, let me see. And there's the other controls that you can turn on there, the user control, and a number of things. So I'm just going to go to design again. I must have forgotten to change something. So yeah, everything seems to check out. Let me see. It's definitely me on my end. Style, non, color black, transparent. Let me see once again. Yeah, it's transparent. All right, let me just update again to see if that's gonna help, make that work. Uh, Proceed. No credits again as usual, and that should do it. We're just gonna wait for that to kind of deploy. And let me just refresh this once again. Maybe it's gonna. Uh, let's see how that is gonna change now. Pushing files to my website, which is the link, and then I'm gonna come back here and just refresh again. Let's see. Ooh, that's it. It's working. So definitely, I forgot to talk something, and then you have it. This, I love this. I love this so much, man. I'm so excited. All right, so let's see if we can actually. So the thing is, now you can see that I can now play around it. This looks so much cooler than this version. This is boring, right? I prefer this, where I can move things around, and you can see it's kind of animated away, so it kind of gives more into the storyline of the agents fair. And this is just one example of a use case where you can use with XR or use 3D models or use XR VR stuff to like give more source to your application, and it just makes things more interactive, and you can see more, give more value. So this, for this use case, we saw like a 3D artist persona, which is me. This I'm me. I'm a 3D artist person. This will be cool for me, right? So this is awesome. And that is it, guys, on how you can use with Excel. There are a number of things that you can play around, but for this workshop, this is exactly the idea I wanted to convey, where you can use with Excel to like put in stuff on his Velt website. And trust, this is gonna just this is going to be available for you to play around with. This is the link to the GitHub repository for you to kind of mess around with things. You can pull this into your local environment and just walk around with it. For the next workshop, we're going to probably look at a no-code tool. I'm thinking Webflow framework, so that we can start looking at, oh, what if I don't want to write code? What if I just want to use this? I don't know how to write code. I'm a designer and I want to show my 3D models. We got you. So that's how, as you in mind. And for the next workshop, I just feel it's appropriate because we've looked at 2 sessions. The first one was React. This is Svelte. The next one should be no code at all, right? And we're going to make that work. So I'm going to find something, an idea we can use to also display that. So please, you can just join the community. And I say once again, to find the community, you can come here. You can get notifications when we want to have the next event or the next workshop. And we love your questions. And you can contact us or like follow our social links to find to be in touch with whatever we are doing, and you can see us get closer to the community of people building this. And this will be very exciting for everybody. All right, so thank you so much for seeing that. So a little bit about what we did today, so that we can kind of, I can just stop sharing my screen. We took a website that was like this, with a 3D static image, less interaction, and turned it into this using SwiftXR with no stress. And this is a 3D model that would be best. So the persona we looked at today was an artist that wants to display his 3D model works online, and we use Veils to like do the integration. The code is pretty much clean, not a lot, but it gets the idea across. So thanks so much for seeing that. A quick note is last time I talked about optimization, and this is where I spoke about there are some things that you need to consider when using 3D models on the website. And you'll notice that for this particular one, I just have a single embed here. You kind of want to reduce the amount of iframes or like embeds you have on a single page. Why? Because depending on the machine that your users or viewers are using, it can get really laggy and painful for them if you have so many of that on a single page. So the general amount you just want to aim for is just maybe 2 or 1. If you can do with 1, that'll be very good. And when I say 1 is you can have a page that displays a lot of things, and you can just have like one single page that just shows one particular model. So for example, if I have another project, I might have a link here. Let's say Pluto, I click on Pluto, it goes to a single place, and I can see just one embed there. Very good, because you want to reduce the amount of these things you have on the page. It can really suck on the performance of machines. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for seeing this. I remain your friendly host. This has been SwiftXR, and this is one of our workshops. We have a number of ones lined up. Thanks so much for seeing this. And if you have questions, let me see in the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen now. So, okay, so if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I'm just going to give about, let's say, 2-3 minutes for that. Let me paste the link in the chart so you can see that. Okay, so no questions. I guess I must be the best teacher in the world. All right, so I must be the best teacher in the world, so if you have any questions. All right, so thank you guys for coming around for this workshop. Of course, we got several ones lined up. Please join the community, like the socials, interact with us online, and we love answering questions that you might have. More importantly, use 3D stuff on your website, use XR stuff. It's cool. And then also could be the convincing thing for your clients to kind of want to buy your stuff, you know. So thank you much for joining the stream. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.